Welcome back to your soon-to-be favorite podcast. I'm Angelica.
And I'm Kelsey.
And this is
Here We Grow.
Okay, hi everyone.
Hello.
And welcome back to the Here We Grow podcast. Angelica here.
We're here, but we are not queer.
That is Kelsey. Let's get one thing straight and two things gay.
Yes.
What the fuck, people? I think we should take this moment.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, and guys, I'm a bit discouraged. I think Kelsey shares with me in that. We asked for something I thought seemingly easy, and we asked for people to send in stories of a woman in their life who's amazing, inspiring. Yeah, they truly love, and
not a single one.
No, and it's really sad because, like, in the beginning, or even just at random times, we'll get like a review from someone. And it's like, hey, I just heard the newest episode and these are my thoughts, A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
And then when we're asking for it, I don't know if people were just really busy this week or...
Well, and it's not even like we were asking for a review. We're not asking for feedback. We're asking for you to tell us about someone you love in honor of Women's History Month. So then we're thinking, okay, does this reflect badly on us or badly on the love for women out there? Because then that's equally alarming.
Yeah.
Alarming.
No, but for real, like it's, like I said, very disheartening, very discouraging, and it sucks because Kelsey and I don't get paid doing this podcast. And that's not, to say that's your responsibility or, that's your fault. It's not as a listener, but like...
We're trying to build a community.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to build a community here. We're trying to make an impact. We're trying to spread awareness. We're trying to spread love. And it's very hard when people don't help. But that's okay because we get it. Maybe it's just a really bad week.
But we do need your participation. We do need you to help us in building the community. We do need you to participate in the conversation. Yeah. Because we don't want this to just be us blabbing. Like, we want to hear what you think. We want to hear your perspectives. We want to, have you a part of the conversation.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to make it sound negative. I'm not trying to make it sound blamey. Like Kelsey said, I mean, this is still what we're doing to us, at least, is still very important. So we're going to keep going at it.
And this will be on record forever, for people to listen to whenever. Just be a little bit more encouraging if you were doing it right now.
So, So
please share one of our posts, any video on your story, on your Facebook timeline, however you can, because word of mouth is the best way for podcasts to spread to people who would want to be a part of our community.
Yeah. I mean, totally. I told Kelsey earlier, like, I opened up Facebook and the first post I saw was my friend Kim, and she posted about a Crime Junkie episode that had just released, and I read the description and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm going to go ahead and listen. And I listened and I'm like, man.
That was great marketing.
Yeah. What would happen? And she didn't even say anything. Like, she just reposted their post. And I'm like, dang, like, what would happen if like someone reposted our post and then someone else saw it and then they started listening? Like, it's really that simple. Yeah. It's that easy. It's that simple. I mean, I'm not a big poster. I like posting stuff on my story. Yeah. That way it's just there for 24 hours. It doesn't have to be on my timeline forever. If you're more like that, please just share it to your story because that's where you're going to get the most views anyway. Right. Most eyes on this. Yep. Like
100%.
We're like, lack of a better term, like begging at this point. Like, can you please just, we see you do it.
If you think what we do is great, please share. That's the best thing you can do for us is share.
Yeah, like if you can do it for your favorite artist, you could do it for us.
So true. So, moving on. In honor of Women's History Month, we have written our own stories about people in our life who inspire us.
I have not written it down. It's all up in my noggin.
I wrote mine.
I should have, but
yeah.
I knew what I wanted to say.
So we'll read those. And then Angelica has a story for us that she's going to talk about the astronauts that were stuck in space for 9 months. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the spiel right. Is this right?
Yes. Yes, Mom.
And sorry about not uploading last week. We totally spaced it. I don't know. Life's been very busy this week, even though, yeah. Anyway, so let's get to it. You want to do one of yours first?
Okay. Me personally, or the one I
got? Sure. The one you got.
Wait, do you have Mario's one of because Mario sent 2?
He only sent me 1, and it's the one of you.
Okay, so Mario sent me one of his mom. So I'll read those 2, and then my 2.
Okay.
And then we'll do yours.
Okay.
And break. Okay.
Oh, quote of the week first. Sorry. Quote of the week. This is actually a post Angelica sent me. I screenshotted it. Your 30s force you to confront one truth. You weren't taught to trust yourself. You were trained to seek approval. You were told to be nice, not to set boundaries. You were taught love means sacrifice, but self-sacrifice isn't love. You thought you had to earn belonging when in reality, the right people accept you as you are. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. We have talked about all 3 of those points on this podcast multiple times, especially the last one that says you thought you had to earn belonging when in reality, the right people accept you as you are. We've said, just be yourself and your people will come to you.
Right.
Your people will make themselves known. So I thought that was important to use as a quote of the week.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Okay, now you can go.
That's great. Okay.
That's great. That's great.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. This is from my honeys, Mario. He says, and I quote, "The woman that inspires me is my mom. When I was younger, I've seen her day in and day out work her ass off to make sure we had food on the table and clothes on our backs. Now as an adult, I see her doing so many things that she necessarily doesn't have to do but enjoys doing them, like taking care of my nieces and taking my grandma to the doctors. Also cooking us food when she doesn't need to either. Even when she's sick, she manages to pull through and make sure all is good. She has been my father and mother at the same time. Through the good and the bad, I'm glad she's my mother."
That's very cute. I've heard the father and mother at the same time thing. It's very...
Get you a man that talks about his mom like that. Okay. And then this other one that I have, a little background story on it. Mario's friends asked if he could come out tonight, which, not that he has to ask for my permission, but I took this time to threaten them. Well, not threaten them. I was like, oh, he can go out on one condition.
A condition, yeah.
Yeah, like all you guys have to send in a story about a woman in your life, and so I can say it on the podcast. And I received one of those stories. This
one?
Is, yeah.
The other... A few.
Look. I chose to look on the bright side.
You did receive one.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Boys will be boys, I guess.
Ew.
I know. Yeah, I felt ill even before I said it.
Ew.
I mean, honestly, I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah.
Work on that.
Yeah.
Okay. What's that? I'll pray for you.
I'll pray for you.
Okay, so this is
my brother in Christ.
My brother in Christ. My brothers in Christ. I will pray for you guys. This is from Carlos. It says, "I have been talking to someone roughly about a year now. There are several people that question my decision, but it is extremely rare to find someone that is a motivation to you, and for me, her name is Bianca. When I first laid eyes on her, she took my breath away. She has been a tremendous inspiration to me on my work life. She actually convinced me that I should take a store manager position. Her words encouraged me. She said to me, 'Babe, do it. You would be a great store manager.' She has taught me a ton of patience, especially with treating her heart the right way. Can't wait for our future together." Heart eyes emoji.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yep. And for my 2, well, my first one, not in any particular order, like one's not more important over the other.
Right.
Would be my sister and my mom. And I told Kelsey, I'm like, you're a great woman too. Like, this is not to say you're not. I just...
After she found out that I wrote one about her.
I know. I'm such a douchebag. Okay. Well, I was going to say for my sister is that, I mean, being a little sister, you kind of always look up to your older sister. Mm-hmm. You want to be just like them. You want to dress like them, talk like them, listen to the same music, hang out in the same group, which is what I did.
Yep.
I accomplished that.
Yep. Success.
Yeah, success. But there's this one particular incident that I remember with my sister that completely like, I had already looked up to her, but when this happened, it truly...
built a respect for her.
And it just completely solidified what I think of her.
Okay.
And regardless of what has happened since that time, it has not tarnished.
Okay.
Like the respect I have for her and like the awe I have for her. Mm-hmm. And I honestly don't think anything she could do would ever, because it was such a highlight. You know what I mean? So I want to touch on this subject. It's a bit strange, and it may not mean a whole lot to a lot of people. A lot of people will probably listen to this and not think of anything, but it means a lot to me.
Okay.
So in our parents' hometown, there was this man who, there's two men actually in my parents' hometown who are kind of seen as like the town druggie. One of them's like a druggie, and they're both homeless. And the other one is seen as like he has mental issues, like mental delays. And being from this small town in Mexico where everyone knows each other, everyone's family, they've been ostracized, which is very sad. Mostly the one who would be like a druggie. I don't know exactly what he does, but he's constantly asking around for stuff, and you can just tell he's like in a really bad shape and all that or whatever. But the other man who he's completely harmless. Our parents told us like he does have a family, but I think it's just his grandma or an aunt left that he has. And they just tell us like from what they know or what they've heard, he had a really, really rough childhood. He was mistreated badly by multiple people. I won't say stuff on the podcast, but like that have led him to the
mental state
that he's in. And you would see this man, you know, downtown or just walking around, like I said, completely harmless. He smiles to you. I think that's like his overall expression is just like a smile. Doesn't really do a whole lot. He might stand next to you and then kind of walk away or come back or wave or whatever. Doesn't say anything. And so this is a man that we see whenever we go downtown. And I remember one time we were with my grandma and we were like, oh, let's go get something to eat. Like it's kind of like the town square, you would call it. And it was like this open restaurant. And we're about to go to this restaurant to go eat. And the owners, you know, I think they knew my parents, like, oh my God, hi, welcome. Like, this is my restaurant now. Like, please come sit down. Like, let me serve you. I'm so happy you're here. And around the same time, that man, he had been like hanging around our family because we were walking downtown. He had been hanging around. So as the owner of the restaurant is ushering us into the restaurant, Maria turns to the man. And he's like, hey, you want to get a hamburger with us? And he just kind of like looks at her and kind of like nods his head a little bit. So then he's coming into the restaurant with us. And the owner goes, no, like, shoot, like, not you. It is mean to this man. And Maria goes, no, he's with us.
Yeah.
And when she did that, I don't know, everyone was like stunned. Like, oh, not as much like our parents and me, but like the owner was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. And Maria's like, no, I invited him. Like, he's eating with us. And, you know, being in the state that he's in, I mean, he's rough around the edges. He sits down. She's asking him. She helps him order. She's pointing. He's pointing at what he wants. And the owner is just like so off put, like, what the fuck is happening, right? And Maria's just so patient with him and just like, okay, tries to make whatever conversation she can. And I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's not funny. The food gets there. He eats his food and then he just walks out of the restaurant. And then we just act like it wasn't weird at all.
Yeah.
Like for us, it was like, okay.
He got us food and carried on. I can totally see her doing that. And so, a situation that kind of reminds me of that is that when we were working at Hawthorne, there was a little boy that we took care of.
Oh, no. Yeah,
that he had severe mental deficits, and Maria was very caring of him and very hands-on with him. And even when he was having when he was being terrible, she was very compassionate with him and very gentle with him. And so that's what that reminds me of. She's very patient with people who need the patience.
Yeah. And like, you wouldn't think that of Maria being the person who she was growing up.
Right.
You know, being this like, I do what I want type rebellious attitude.
Angsty, teenager. Yeah.
And I don't know, when she did that, it made me feel like inspiring, like, oh, I should
faith in humanity.
Yeah. Because it was just such a beautiful moment. And like for the owner of the restaurant to be like, hey, get away. Like not you. And she's like, no, I invited him. Like he's sitting with us.
Yeah.
And she was just like, what the fuck?
I wonder if the owner would have been like, no, he can't come in here. If you guys would have been like, all right, well then we're leaving.
I think we would.
No business for you. Because a family of 6, that's quite a lot of money for a small business.
Yeah. I wonder if my siblings remember that, or my parents. And I'm telling you, like, he just got his food and, like, he ate. And then he just got up and left.
Didn't say anything.
But, like, it wasn't like we were expecting him to be, like, so great. He
just went on about his way.
Yeah. And then I don't think Maria probably even thinks about that moment again, because I think it's so in her nature to be that way that I don't even think for her, like, she never probably even thought about it.
I wonder if he's like severely autistic, because there's this theory that maybe some autistic people who are nonverbal, they say what they mean in their head and they just assume that you can hear them.
Oh, fuck.
So maybe he did say thank you, but you just didn't hear him.
Yeah. I mean, not exactly. Like,
yeah. Or say anything and you just didn't hear him.
Yeah. But I don't know. That moment has always stuck with me. And yeah.
Okay. Now your mom.
Now my mom.
Shout out to Maria.
Shout out to Maria. And now shout out to my mom. Because she had the most amazing daughter. And that's me. And
props to her for that one.
Props to her for that one, I guess. No, I mean, my mom just, has... I can't imagine she's the woman she is today, as progressed as she is in society, because of where she's come from. And that's how I know that you motherfuckers who think you're incapable of changing just don't want to. You don't want to get with the flow. You don't want to just... Who cares? Like, everyone's going to be happy and do their own thing. And as long as it doesn't hurt me, why the fuck should I care?
I think one major part of why your mom is so progressive is because those values she needed to have because she loved you guys so much.
Yes.
It's like her love for you will progress her in any way it needs to be.
My God. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
if you love your kids enough, if you love the people around you enough, you'll progress your values.
And I'm telling you, like, multiple cousins have told my mom, I see you as my second mom. Like, you have treated me like I'm one of your children. You do not judge me.
Yeah.
You provide in times of need that I need something, and you're there without even, my mom's just a great woman.
Very altruistic.
And the reason why I say I don't, imagine you come from this small ranch in Mexico, you have essentially like your capability of thinking what could be possible. You don't have the capability of having this huge imagination because you're not very influenced.
Right.
You're not influenced by media because I wasn't around, or social media, God forbid. She wasn't.
Give you the possibilities.
Yeah, she wasn't hanging around with people who were from the U.S. Like, she was raised with minimalistic values of, this is the family life. And even as a child, witnessing like my grandpa be abusive towards my grandma, like she knew from the get-go, like this is not okay. And at one point, like stood in between them and was like, no, this is not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like even from such a young age was so strong to stand up for what she believed in. And even then, even when she came to the U.S., I mean, having to learn a different language, I mean, she's girl, English is still not the best.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? She gets by on her own.
Yep.
And
she's determined to
she will fight for that $5 off at Kroger, like without a translator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Becoming a US citizen and like raising her kids here. And like, I'm sure it's already difficult when your kids are growing up in the era of technology and you don't even understand like you can't even comprehend, you know what I mean? And for my mom, she got 4 kids and we're all
a handful, different
leaves of different trees. You know what I mean? Like, we're a handful, and my dad was a handful. You know what I mean? Like Kelsey said, she changed because she loved us and she accepted us and she knew she had to get with the time. When many of her peers, people her age, chose to how do you with a kid, you like shoo them away.
Disown them.
Shoo them away. Yes. Many parents shun their kids, make them feel shameful, don't accept them, kick them out of their house.
You asked me for the word disown and then you used a different word.
And disown their kids. You know what I mean? And these kids grow up and they want to get as far away as possible from their parents. Like my mom is the complete opposite. She took us at every step and she grew with us. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It took her a while as normal.
Yeah, I mean...
But she rolled with the punches. This woman rolled with the fucking punches and she got punched quite a bit.
To be honest, whenever I think of, like, the picture-perfect mom, I think of your mom. I literally think of, like, your mom because she cares about her kids and she cares about their lives and what they're doing and she wants to be involved. She wants to be in your life and what you're doing and she wants you to feel like she cares. And
I don't know how she does it. I don't know how.
How does she have the capacity?
Her, like, band of empathy.
Bandwidth.
What'd I say?
With band. Her bandwidth of empathy.
Her bandwidth. Did I say that right? Her bandwidth of empathy. Literally, it's limitless.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, like, you know, because she would say something like, you know, God made Titan, but he never chokes, is like the saying in Spanish. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, what?
God doesn't give you what you can't handle or something like that is the phrase in English.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I would always think to myself, like, God, like my mom's an angel. Like, why would you do this to her? And I'm not, I hope I didn't like explain it wrong, like her upbringing. I just meant, you know, small, but not in a bad way. Just.
Yeah. Small world.
Yeah. It was a small world. Small view.
Yeah.
Very religious. This is your way of life. And, you know, she probably thought her life was going to go one way and it completely took, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just reminds me like it was a couple weeks ago where Maria had her baby shower. And so we had a lot of family come in to town from Chicago. And the next day, this woman is making like, I mean, she probably had 40 people at her house. My mom made food for everyone. While people are there eating, she's making more food, like little gorditas. Her leg is messed up. So she's doing it like with her leg, you know, she's waddling around and
she loves to serve her people. She
just loves it. And
she's great.
She really is. I can't say anything bad about my mom. My mom. Even like when I think back to growing up and how I used to think about her.
See it through a different lens.
I see it completely different.
That's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go back to Maria for a second.
Yeah.
Because something you told me about, without telling too much detail of the story, she took a punch for you. Or like diverted a punch for you.
I'll tell it.
Okay.
Oh my God. I recently found the video and I showed Mario.
There's a video of the whole thing?
There's a video, but the camera was trying to be placed discreetly. So you can't, you can kind of see it. You can hear it for sure. It's very bad.
Okay. You going to tell the story? You don't have to. That's always, I was like, I'm not going to tell the story, but she took a punch for you.
There was an incident where, there was an altercation and someone was going to physically harm me and Maria stood in the way
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, she grabbed the hand of
like
or
diverted
arm.
them.
Yeah. And
stood up for you.
Yeah, she stood up for me.
That's totally like the kind of person I think of when I think of her, is like that
strong
act.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And I had my eyes closed. I was ready to take it. I was like, all right, let's.
So you actually didn't see her do that? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think I kind of kind of closed my eyes, or like kind of flinched, like, okay, let's get this over with. And then she diverted it, and she kept telling the person, like, get away from her, get away from her, get away from her, like, back up, back up.
She's a fighter.
She is.
In a good way. Now in a good way.
Yeah.
I think she uses her powers for good now.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember when she punched the lady at the mall? Oh my gosh, we have to tell that story. Okay, she was an adult, right? She was with... Yeah, okay.
She was with her then boyfriend who had a kid with him.
Yeah.
And they went to
Circle Center, or Castleton.
Yeah, what's the restaurant called?
It's the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, but you don't remember the name. It's like some teriyaki something.
Yeah,
right?
It's a place where you get like bourbon chicken and shit from. And there's a white lady in front of her, and the white lady's being racist to like calling her names and being really mean to her.
To the server. Not to Maria.
Not to Maria, right. Maria's about to order. And Maria says something to her, and then the lady starts getting belligerent with Maria, and Maria just goes up and punches her in the face. I remember when she told me the story, I'm like, no, the fuck you didn't. And then, like, I think mall security was called.
Yeah, she was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. But, like, she could have pressed charges for battery.
Look, I don't know if I could have done that.
No, I couldn't have done that. No.
Yeah.
I would have said something, but I would have punched her.
Well, no, because Maria said something, and obviously to defend the server.
Right.
And then the lady diverted her anger towards Maria, and that's what set her off. Like, had that lady not... It's the lady's fault, okay?
Yeah, it's definitely... racists are always the one in fault.
Exactly. I remember I was like, no, you didn't. I don't believe you. And I
believe her.
I asked her then, boyfriend, he's like, yeah, she punched her. And I'm like, what?
What a wild day.
Yeah. Who else has Maria punched?
I feel like there are more people.
I feel like there are more people too. She's fucked me up a couple times. I think I told you I was using the bathroom, and I don't know. I think I borrowed something, didn't put it back in. I don't know. I pissed her off doing something.
This is when you're teenagers, right?
Yeah, we're teenagers, and she opens the bathroom door and she's yelling at me. I'm like, can you at least wait till I'm done using the bathroom, girl? Like, come on. And sure enough, she just waits by the door, and I'm like, all right. I clean up, I pull my pants. I'm like, all right, let's go. And she grabs me and she shoves me onto the sink, and we break it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's why the sink was broken. Whenever you turn the water on, it goes.
Oh, I thought it was fixed. I thought whatever broke. No, I think we just broke the sink top.
Oh, okay.
What's it called? Like the
countertop?
Yeah, the sink. I think we just broke that.
Just knocked it loose.
My dad was so pissed. I was like, look, it's her fault.
Get some caulking, put it right back in. Okay. Are we ready for mine?
Yeah, sorry.
So no, don't be sorry. I have plenty.
Okay.
All right. So first one is Maria, since we're already talking about her. Maria has been my best friend for 22 years.
Damn. Sorry.
Are you calling us old?
Nope.
Wait till I talk about you.
Aw.
Ow. I don't know if that was like a aw or like a aw, because it's kind of mixed up.
It's not as long as 22, I don't think. I have known you, but like, I don't know you. Just.
Maria has been my best friend for 22 years. Over that time, she has grown into a totally new person. Over the years, she may have been bad about texting back, but she's always there when you need her. She became a mother almost 3 years ago, and since then has become one of the most fierce and wonderful moms I know. She just wants her kids to be happy and loved, and for them to know that she loves them, and she is excelling at that. She takes care of everything and makes sure that they have everything they need. She loves her friends and family so hard and so much that there isn't one thing she wouldn't do for them. She inspires me to love the people who love me unconditionally and to show up for people when they need me. That's Maria's. Next one's Gabby. I have been friends with Gabby for 20 years.
Damn.
Like my other friends, we grew up together. I have seen her as an angsty teenager and as a responsible adult. Over the years, she's been through so much. She's also the person that is there when you call her. She has a love for life and fun and friends that is unmatched. She inspires me to keep having fun and to keep being to keep enjoying the joys of life. I don't know. I had extra words in that sentence. I was like typing these while I was cooking dinner today. Oh. Okay, Stephanie. I've known Stephanie for a long time, but I have loved her for about 16 years. We used to hate each other for no reason, literally none, which is another story. But I can't imagine that feeling now. She is one of the most fierce women I know.
I think you talked about your guys' hatred.
I think we did on the episode she was on. She is so sure about what she wants and who she is. She is an incredible mother to her son, who she would do anything for. In fact, she was the first person of our friend group to show us what it's like to be a mom. She inspires me to be sure of who I am and to be fierce for myself and for the people I love. Kendra. I've known that bitch her whole life. She is a totally different person than she was when she was a teenager, like most of us. She is kick-ass at her job and at the mom life. She makes decisions quick and knows what to do in every situation. She's an amazing cook, too. She inspires me to improve my cooking skills, and she makes me proud to call her my sister.
Aww.
Angelica.
Aww.
Jelly, as we call her. I've known that bitch her whole life, too. Well, most of it. No, literally 76% of her life.
Damn.
Because I was friends with her sister when we were kids, I didn't get close to her like I am today until the last several years or so. What started with her stopping by on her way home from work to vent, to have deep conversations or talk shit, became this little old podcast that we love. She's so creative and organized. She's fun and loving to her people. She believes in what's right and knows what she's worth. She has a newfound strength that she built herself from scratch. I don't have to say that she's been through shit because you can't tell. I love creating with her and having the conversations on a level most people can't understand. She inspires me to handle life with grace and to keep creating. She inspires me to remember my strength and to advocate for people who need it.
I am speechless.
And then one that I didn't write that I just wanted to mention, an honorable mention, if you will, is Travis's grandmother. She passed away in...
Was it before Cash was born?
Yes, 2019, I think. She passed away in 2019. Yes, because we had moved out of that house. Yes, she passed away in 2019. She was very old when she passed away. She was like going on 90. And I only knew her as this old fragile lady. But what I did know of her is that she was very much like your mom, like takes care of everybody, makes sure everybody's good, very caring, very accepting of everyone. She had 10 children. Well, 10 children, yes.
Oh, sorry.
So Travis's mom has 9 brothers and sisters.
Wow, that woman.
Yeah. She grew up in Mississippi in the 20s, which means that her parents were slaves. And if they were not slaves, they were at least like farm hands. Like they were close to slaves. Like they were working for nothing. And so she really literally came from nothing, grew up, got married in her 20s in Mississippi, had her first child in Mississippi, then moved to Indiana and had all the rest of her children. And she's just amazing. She's just amazing. There's just no way to explain why. But an interesting story that I wanted to tell is that when she was getting older, she started to show signs of dementia. She was having trouble mixing up facts and stuff. Like she would call Travis one of his uncle's names, like one of her boys' names. And it would be like a different one every time because she has a bunch of them. But there was one time where me and Travis and him and his mom were living under the same roof. We were splitting rent with them, like trying to, live cheap or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so we were a part of her care for a little bit. And one day, me and Travis were leaving for work. We were working at the same place. And we ended up coming back in the house and not leaving because we were having issues with the car. And she asked Travis if we were going to work. And Travis goes, no, we're having trouble with the car. We're not going today. And she said, ain't they going to beat you? And then she said something like, they won't feed you if you skip work today. Oh. And that's very sad. That's very telling of the things she's been through in her life, the things that she's witnessed. And
that breaks my heart.
You know, we take for granted just call off work if you're not feeling it, you know. But at some point in the recent past,
that's what I'm saying. Like they're so close to it.
At some point in the recent past, that was not an option. So I just wanted to put that out there because that to me like really has made me feel very loving of her. And we've said that, you know, there's these stories that like kids see ghosts and stuff like that. And we've always said like, if Cash sees a ghost, I hope it's Travis's grandmother. Of all the people that are dead in our family, I hope it's Travis's grandmother because I know that she would be very gentle with him and she would make sure that he's not scared. And you know what I mean? Like she would make sure that it was the right moment. So.
Did you say he did?
We think he did.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. You probably won't know unless he gets older and he's still seeing her.
Yeah, or if he remembers.
But why do you think why do you guys think he saw her?
Well, he's just acted like he's seen ghosts, period. And we're just hoping it's her.
See?
Oh, no. There was another. Yeah. We have a picture of her hanging in our living room. A picture of him and Travis's mom. And when he was really young, he used to look at that picture and wave. Like, huh? Like, hi. And we have reason to believe he was not waving at Travis's mom. Because she wasn't, like, nearby very much then. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was just weird that he would wave.
Like, maybe he had seen her before, like in ghost form, and then saw the picture and was like, oh, I know who you are now.
Oh, there's also a large picture of her in Travis's mom's living room, and we were there one day, and he pointed her out there as if he recognized her. And he's never met her. Obviously. He was born in 22, and she died in 19.
Wow.
Yeah. So, hopefully he is seeing her.
I'm sure he is.
She's watching over him, and that's all we can hope for. That she's not scaring him.
No.
Like, Grandma, please don't scare him.
Grandma, no!
I like my long sleep, good sleep nights.
Call back to the grandma horror story.
Yeah. Oh, no. Go back and listen to our scary story episodes. They're good.
Oh, my God. That gave me chills.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about space astronauts stuck in space. Wow.
Wait, so Mara didn't have one for me?
Oh, he did. Yes. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I got stuck on all mine.
I'm not trying to be full of myself, but I'm pretty sure
I did say that. Yes. Okay.
I want to know what he thinks about me.
A woman that inspires me. Oh, sorry. This is Mario to Angelica. A woman that inspires me doesn't have to be a family member. It could be someone that you're in love with. So, So Angelica is that woman that inspires me. She has been so strong and resilient and smart. She has been in the lowest of lows and managed to get herself back up. I'm having trouble reading this and not putting my own words in it. She's an independent woman that doesn't need no man. Period, but luckily she got me, LMAO. She looks out for her family when sometimes she doesn't need to. It's bad grammar, sorry. She is a great aunt and godmother. She challenged me to be better every day, not through words alone, but through the way she lives her life with strength and belief. That's it.
Period, poo.
Period, poo. I think mine was better. Yeah. I did read that before I wrote mine, so.
Okay, yes. So, typically I've said before, I usually have not been getting on social media because what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I kept seeing this over and over again. I'm like, what is this? I feel like I kind of am interested in this.
Call back.
So, what is it? Oh my God, no, I lost my freaking. Okay. So, if you guys do not know, there were 2 NASA astronauts that were stuck on the International Space Station for 9 months. Mm-hmm. It was only supposed to be a week-long trip. And yeah, they just got back like a week ago or something, mm-hmm. or less than a week ago or something. And I just kind of want to talk about that for...
Do you have the reason they were stuck?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read this to you from npr.org. You can do more research if you like. Okay, 2 NASA astronauts who've been on the International Space Station since last summer after their week-long assignment turned into a 9-month saga are back on Earth. Mm. A SpaceX Dragon capsule carrying Suni Williams. I don't know if it's Sunny or Suni. I kind of want to think it's Suni.
That's a dumb name for a spaceship.
Oh, they were making fun of her name.
Not the astronaut.
SpaceX Dragon? Yeah, I don't...
What are we, 5?
No. And Butch Wilmore splashed down off the Gulf Coast of Florida, Gulf of Mexico, coast of Florida, shortly before 6 p.m. EDT Tuesday. Oh, this past Tuesday. Mm-hmm. The spacecraft had undocked from the ISS at 1:05 a.m. EDT Monday morning. Wow, so it took them what? Fuck, my brain's not computing.
What was the times?
They left morning. At 1:05 Monday, and they arrived at 6 p.m. Tuesday. So that's 24 plus 5, 17. What's 17 plus 24? 41?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's 41.
Okay.
41 hours.
Wow.
Right?
You know, I've seen memes that are like, what the space, I keep wanting to call them space something. What the astronauts must be thinking coming down to Earth and being like, what the fuck? Like everything that's happened since they've been in space.
I know, like,
which obviously they know. I mean, they have the news and stuff. I wonder
if they were able to vote. Huh. Because they left in July.
Good point. We should Google that.
That's a good point. Yeah, coming down and...
I'll write it down to Google it later.
All right. The pair returned home alongside fellow NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov. Last June, a Boeing spacecraft launched with Williams and Wilmore on board for what was anticipated for an 8-day mission, but problems with the aerospace company's capsule meant that the pair were left on the ISS and ultimately incorporated into the space station's regular crew. Mm. So apparently we have people going up there all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Which I'm like, what? Okay, anyway.
Yeah, like, we know someone from high school that used to live by the space station. I mean, by NASA, where they would launch rockets. I don't.
Oh, okay.
And
you didn't whisper that very well.
No, I didn't. All right, though.
It doesn't matter. Why can't you say his name?
I don't know. He used to post videos of, like, going to watch a rocket be...
Yeah, I mean, I
launched.
guess...
I don't know why I can't use space words today.
I mean, yeah, like, of course we have astronauts. Of course we have people going to space. Of course. Mm-hmm. I guess I just didn't really think of that as, like, someo's job.
Being it, like, a daily or weekly or monthly thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're constantly training, too. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. Tuesday's splashdown capped a lengthy space odyssey for Williams and Wilmore, whose troubled voyage became mired in politics and raised questions about Boeing's ability to carry out missions for NASA. And get this fucking shit, right? On June 5th, Williams and Wilmore rocketed into the cosmos aboard the new Boeing Starliner spacecraft. The flight was part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, which contracts with private companies to ferry astronauts and cargo to and from the International Space Station. SpaceX, the other company hired through the program, has been successfully flying missions to NASA for years. Great.
Hold your microphone up a little bit higher.
The early summer launch was Starliner's first trip with a human crew on board. The capsule made it to the ISS, but not before encountering a number of issues, including multiple helium leaks and malfunctioning of some of its thrusters. Could you imagine? NASA...
Have you seen any space movies? Because goddamn, I'd be crazy. I love space movies. Those are my favorite. Especially the classics, like Apollo 13 and stuff.
I haven't seen
that. Next week we're watching Apollo 13 and we'll report back.
Okay. NASA decided that rather than risk flying Williams and Wilmore back on a questionable craft, they would return the beleaguered Starliner. I was like, what's the core word here? Beleaguered.
Okay.
Starliner to Earth without a crew. So NASA decided it was much safer to just keep them up there instead of bringing them back down with the Boeing they used because that one was having trouble. Mm-hmm. That meant leaving Williams and Wilmore behind on the ISS, where they would be incorporated into the space station's regular crew rotation until the replacements arrived months later, NASA announced. That occurred early Sunday morning when two NASA astronauts, a Japanese astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut who had docked on the ISS, floated through a hatch to greet their colleagues. Could you imagine floating through?
I think I saw the video of that. Yeah.
So cute.
Mm-hmm. So adorable. You guys floating.
Yeah. And okay, so this...
no gravity.
It's so weird. Mm-hmm. And like... Okay, Suni gives a tour of their space station, and she like shows where they sleep, and she's like, I really have no concept if I'm laying down or not, so I could really sleep however I want.
Yeah, I've seen them just like floating, sleeping.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How do you? It's just so weird, right? Like, how could you imagine?
Yeah, I think a lot of them float and sleep, but like if there's like a risk that you'll hit something or mess something up, then they strap themselves to their bed.
Oh my God. And they showed the bathrooms.
You have to strap yourself down to use the bathroom.
Well, yeah. And it's like a tiny hole. And she was like, you better have good aim.
Yeah.
Or it's going to, I mean, she said it has suction, but like it's this tiny hole, like like a donut.
Yeah.
And then there's like a there's like a vacuum, essentially, like a vacuum, what's it called?
Hose
for if it's just pee.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is kind of where he got political, and it's kind of honestly kind of frustrating. Kind of like, yeah. So Cheeto says the pair were abandoned. NASA says it was planned. So, like, could you imagine being corrected by NASA? Like, bro, shut up.
Yeah.
Williams and Wilmore's expedition, which spanned 2 presidential administrations, has been caught up in politics. Shortly after taking office in January, President Cheeto said he asked his close political advisor and SpaceX founder Elon Musk, so Elon Musk is the owner of the SpaceX. Mm-hmm. And what did SpaceX do? He was part of this. Mm-hmm. He asked Elon Musk to go get Williams and Wilmore, whom Trump said that had been virtually abandoned in space by the Biden administration. Like,
hold your microphone up some more.
He's blaming the Biden administration for this happening, but NASA's like, no, this is much safer. Like, what we're planning
Biden had
better.
no hands in this.
Had nothing to do with it.
You have to blame everything on Biden.
It's just so frustrating because like the people that don't know or won't do the research themselves
will just believe it.
Yeah. And I was telling my coworker about this, and she was like, how can the government let this happen? And I was like, girl, the government lets a lot of fucked up shit happen.
Yeah, but like what is the government going to do to resolve this? They don't have NASA. Is NASA a government agency? That's a good question, right? I mean, even if it is, the government she's talking about is the president and
right,
legislative branch, judicial branch, whatever.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They don't have knowledge on space anything.
But also, like, when Americans get trapped in other countries, we don't go straight into the country and retrieve them. Like, it's a process. Safe. We've actually deported Americans. Did you know that?
And don't get me started. They can't go grab these astronauts until they have a vessel safe enough to do so.
Right. Like,
period. That's the only piece of this puzzle.
Right. Okay, so in fact, the astronauts' ride back to Earth had been docked on the ISS since September. The SpaceX Dragon capsule that flew the pair home on Tuesday arrived at the space station in the fall with 2 empty seats for the duo's return trip. NASA said it had decided to integrate Williams and Wilmore into the space station crew for technical and budgetary reasons. And during their time on the station, the pair has been conducting experiments and spacewalks. So it's like, hey, you're up there, you might as well do all this stuff.
Do some work, do some research,
Do some work, yeah. And it's like, they're not stuck up there.
They actually have the privilege of being in space for 9 months. Like, I'm sure people would love that.
Right. I mean, what an asset to the career. Mm-hmm. You're well. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Musk said in February that he had made an offer to the Biden administration, quote unquote, months ago for SpaceX to bring the astronauts home early, but that the administration, quote unquote, refused and delayed the pair's return for political reasons. It's like, why are you spinning this, dude? Mm-hmm.
Use anything for political gain.
Stupid ass.
Specifically, I've seen a lot in headlines that Trump is using the state of the country, El Salvador, as some kind of pawn in his political gain. Like, threatening to send people to El Salvador because it's, like, this country that's in ruins, like, that's, like, not in a good state.
Yeah.
How sad that El Salvador is in that state. Don't use it as a pawn in your political spew.
Right.
Ew.
It's not very leader of you.
No. They have their own problems. They don't need you sending people there.
2 former NASA officials under the Biden administration, including former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, said they were unaware of such offer. Mm-hmm. So Elon Musk is lying because he's a fucking liar. Mm-hmm. Cheeto, in a post on his social media site on Monday, thanked NASA Acting Administrator Janet Petro and Space Agency staff for coordinating Williams and Wilmer's return, and accused the Biden administration of being, quote unquote, incapable of bringing the pair home. Again,
what does the Biden administration have to do with bringing astronauts home?
Spewing more lies.
What does Biden have to do with bringing astronauts home? What does Trump have to do? He didn't do it. He didn't even give himself credit for it.
Oh my God.
He didn't even give himself credit for it, which shows you that the president has nothing to do with astronauts coming home.
Right. Oh, if he did, I'd be so pissed. So that's really interesting, despite the political bullshit happening with Cheeto and Elon being fucking liars. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, like what happened, and they were there for 9 months. And then immediately after this amazing retrieval of these 2 astronauts,
celebratory thing.
Yeah, amazing. They look happy. They're smiling on their way back to Indiana. Yeah, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? This is their career. Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
It's what they're supposed to be doing.
It's what they're supposed to be doing. After I see all of this great stuff, like literally the next day, I see posts and it's like, oh my God, look how 9 months in space has aged these astronauts. And guess who the picture is? The woman. Mm-hmm. Why have we not seen how 9 months has aged a man? Mm-hmm. And I was telling Kelsey, like, you know, when she left, she had, you know, her hair was dark brown and she came back and her roots are showing.
Right.
Is that a sign of aging? No, you dipshit. That just means she hasn't dyed her fucking hair.
Yeah. It's literally your hair has grown.
And don't get me wrong, changes, you know, to your body will be made if you spend 9 months in space, which we will go over that.
But they were trying aging to 10 years like they're trying to imply.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, this is the fucking war on women. Mm-hmm. She's a fucking hero. Mm-hmm. She has accomplished so much in her fucking life for you to like. Mm-hmm.
She's a piece of history now.
Yeah, like why are you doing it? Why? Like. Yeah. Again,
what's the gain?
Well, it's the clickbait, essentially. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if it was on both her and the male astronaut, if it was both on Suni and Butch, okay, yeah, I believe it. I get it. But like every single picture, it's just her and her gray roots. Mm-hmm. Leave that poor woman alone. My God.
Leave her alone.
Okay.
Leave Brittany alone.
What does 9 months do? Sorry, what does 9 months in space?
What does 9 months do? It makes a baby, that's for sure.
Baby. What does 9 months in space do to your body, right? Mm-hmm. So, let's see.
I need to start bringing a snack.
You said that a long time ago.
I know.
All right, so here we go. How will
astronauts?
How will the astronauts be feeling? We briefly saw Williams and Wilmore smiling and waving after leaving the spacecraft today, but British astronaut Tim Peake says the pair will probably be feeling fairly rough, right? There might be some nausea, dizziness, and vertigo, and your bones and your muscles are getting used to that loading of Earth's gravity as you stand up and walk around. Could you imagine like the feeling of zero gravity and then you must feel so heavy.
I've heard that like even you can become a little bit taller in space because the gravity's not pushing you down.
Yeah, I believe it. And she looks so good when she's floating around. She looks so young and like so full of life.
Yeah.
Your balance is having to kind of regain, and you're having to get a sense of where you are. So there will be a period of rapid adjustment in the next 2 or 3 days. That's why the crew were helped out of the aircraft and wheeled away on stretchers. Yeah, I remember my coworker was like, but look at them. Look at how they look. I'm like, dude, they just got back. Like,
they have severe jet lag, first of all.
Severe, bro. Like the worst. They've
been traveling for 74, what did you say?
41? 41 is what we decided.
They've been traveling for 41 hours and have been in space for 9 months where there's no gravity. Of course they're going to be... What? They have to be taken either way, even if they feel great. They have to be taken for medical
examinations.
Right. Okay. They haven't seen a doctor for 9 months.
Yeah. Also, though, while they were in ISS, they like train and like still keep their bodies moving and as if they're doing all these exercises. And I think that's so cool. Like, wow.
Like they're running on treadmills with snow.
Yeah, she was saying like it's a lot easier though, but you have to find ways to get creative to
actually put pressure on your body. Yeah.
So how long will it take for them to recover? It'll probably be 2 or 3 months until they feel back to full strength, Peak says.
Wow.
They'll have to build up all those small stabilizing muscles in your lower back and your core that you can't exercise quite as well as you'd like to up in space. Frank Rubio, who has spent 371 days in space, says his first 2 or 3 months back on Earth were about reincorporating himself back into life and rehabilitating his body. Ooh, could you imagine?
Pause real quick. I just saw something.
Yeah.
Your coworker saying, oh, well, look, they don't look too good when they're getting off the spaceship. That is very telling of how the political climate currently is, in the way that, plenty of astronauts for decades now, since men have been going into space, since humans, I should say. I mean, I meant man as in humans. Mm-hmm. Since humans have been going into space, I'm sure every time they get off the spaceship, they're put on stretchers and they're taken for medical. But because now it's seen in a political view, people are like, well, look at them. They don't look too good. But if you just open your brain up to, oh, maybe this is just how it goes.
Normal, yeah.
That is literally applied to every misconception of every single theory that people use in a political view.
Preach, girl, preach.
Oh my God, it's exhausting being on Earth. Y'all, take me to space. Shit.
Take me to space. So what is the longest time astronauts have spent in space? Russian astronaut Valery Polyakov. Sure. Sorry. Spent 437 continuous days on board the Mir space station. But NASA astronaut Peggy Whiteson, these are both women, okay, holds the record for the most cumulative time in space at 675 days.
Damn.
She has been to space 4 times. Rubio holds the record for the longest time spent on board the International Space Station, having spent 371 days there. Yeah, so I mean, this happens. Mm-hmm. People come back in stretchers.
The space station is meant to hold life for multiple days, months, years.
Yep.
It's literally home away from home.
So again, how does being in space affect your body? Many physiological systems gradually return to normal after returning to Earth, but there can be some lasting impacts from being in space. I'm going to keep going. When Rubio returned to Earth in 2023, he told America broadcaster ABC he needed some time to readapt to Earth's gravity. What?
Miami? Oh no, I can't say it right now.
He also said he would need to rebalance his equilibrium for things like standing upright and walking around. And Rubio said the psychological aspect of spending so long in space was tougher than he expected. Here's how being in space can impact an astronaut's bones, muscles, and vision. Muscles. Without the tug of gravity, astronauts' bones and muscle astronauts' bone and muscle mass deteriorate quickly in space. The muscles that are the most affected are in the back, neck, calves, and thighs. Without a proper diet and exercise routine, astronauts also lose muscle mass in microgravity faster than they would on Earth. And even though astronauts undertake extensive exercise while on board the ISS to combat this, a 2021 study published in the Systematic Review Journal found that it was not enough to prevent losses in muscle. It just isn't. There's zero gravity. Okay, bones. Go ahead. Okay, bones.
Wait, hold on. No, I do have something. So, this is on movies. So, this is a movie reference. But on movies, and maybe I'm thinking of a space station that's on the moon or on a planet.
Okay.
On a mass.
Right.
In that space, they can turn on gravity. So where they can just walk around like normal. Or something I'm thinking of.
Huh.
Or because Mars doesn't have gravity. It has some gravity, but not gravity like Earth. Like it'll pull you towards, but you're still like floating when you walk. You know what I mean?
How do you turn on gravity?
Good question. I don't know. Maybe we should Google that too.
Do you think the moon landing was real?
Oh.
I don't.
Really? I think there's no reason why it couldn't be real.
We were in a war with Russia and wanted to do it first.
I said there's no reason why it couldn't be real.
Oh!
I'm like, what does that mean?
What that got to do with me? Okay. Another day.
Yeah.
Bones. NASA has learned that without Earth's gravity... Bones. That without Earth's gravity affecting the human body, weight-bearing bones lose on average 1.5% of mineral density during each month of space flight.
Say the density again.
Weight-bearing bones lose an average of 1.1 to 1.5%.
Okay, that's right.
1 to 1.5%.
You said 1.1.5. I'm like, I know it doesn't say that.
After returning to Earth, bone loss might not be completely corrected by rehabilitation. However, the risk of fracturing is not higher. That's good. Spaceflight-induced bone loss does, however, put astronauts at risk of developing kidney stones. What?
Wow. I wonder why. I wonder what the science is.
That's because as bones break down,
calcium, yeah.
can be released into other bodily systems and solidify into kidney stones.
Yeah, kidney stones are calcium.
Yeah, and as your bones break down, that makes sense. Wow. Okay. Research published in 2022 documented bone loss in 17 ISS astronauts and missions, averaging about 5.5 months. A year after returning to Earth, the astronauts exhibited on average 2.1% reduced bone mineral density of the tibia, one of the bones of the lower leg, and 1.3% reduced bone strength. 9 did not recover bone mineral density after the space flight.
Wow.
I mean, vision. Astronauts experience changes to their eyes and vision during space flight, a phenomenon.
Yeah,
yes. Right. It's got me questioning myself. Known as spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome. What the fuck? Microgravity causes a person's blood and cerebrospinal fluid to shift toward the head. Oh my God. And researchers suspect that these fluid shifts are an underlying cause of SAS.
Oh.
Wow.
That makes sense. Like more pressure in your eyes.
Yeah. Some astronauts experience lasting impairment that may require corrective lenses. That's not bad. I mean, whatever. But, oh my God, my coworker, I was like, dude, your eyes like really red. She goes, oh yeah, it's just like busted blood vessels. I'm like, sorry? Do you have to like go to the hospital? She's like, no, it's fine. It'll go down. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, it happens all the time.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
I mean, I've seen it happen to people before and they didn't go to the hospital, but not if it happens all the time. That's weird.
I don't know.
Let's write that question down. No.
So, yeah, this is what they look like. And then, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of them returning. and how they always point it to her.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
It also feels like someone has messed with that photo.
It does look heavily
edited, yeah.
Right. It's just
I mean, the photo that they took
their
before
bodies
she went,
have been ravaged by the void. What?
First of all, if they signed up for this. They knew that was a part of this. So what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that NASA did them wrong by sending them into space because they knew what they were signing up for? Second of all, the first photo you showed me is the photo I'm sure they took before they got on the space shuttle to launch, which means she was perfectly done up.
Literally.
And had not been traveling yet.
Literally, yes.
And the second photo you showed me is probably what she looked like after she arrived at the space station. Besides the gray hair.
My God, people.
What a piece of shit.
I know. And that was Daily Mail, so screw you.
Daily Mail sucks. It's basically a tabloid.
Oh, well, there you go. You're not even fucking real. I mean, you're like real, but like you don't matter.
Okay, I'm going to ask if astronauts can vote. Ooh. Yes, astronauts can vote from space. NASA has a system in place to allow astronauts on the International Space Station to participate in U.S. elections. There's an absentee ballot request, electronic ballot, secure transmission. The astronauts fills out the electronic ballot and it sends it back to Earth through NASA's secure communication network. The ballot is encrypted to ensure its integrity. Ooh. And then it gets delivered to the county clerk. Wow. So the answer to that is yes.
Good.
Let me ask the other question. Can you turn on gravity?
Sorry, I just want to know what the answer is.
I asked AI and they thought I was asking if AI can turn on gravity. Like they're like, "Oh no, I can't do that."
I cannot.
Gravity is a fundamental force of nature. It's not something that can be switched on or off like a light switch. It's a constant force that exists between objects with mass. The more mass an object has, the stronger its gravitational pull. Perhaps you're thinking about situations where gravity might be seen to turn off or reduce, like in space. In those cases, it's more about being in free fall, where you and your surroundings are falling at the same rate, creating the sensation of weightlessness. But gravity is still very much present. Can you tell me a little bit more why you're asking?
The government wants to know why you're inquiring.
Right. Okay. That's all I had. Is that all you had?
That's all I got.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And please go share something from our Instagram page or our Facebook page or our TikTok. We would very much appreciate that. Word of mouth is the best way we're going to be able to grow. And hug on a woman in your life that you really love and who inspires you, and tell them why they inspire you so that they can feel important, they can feel validated, and they can feel loved.
Yeah. All that.
All right, y'all. See you next week. Bye.